Well, good afternoon. I'm Pastor Les Chemist. Welcome back to Cruisin' Narrow Road. I am feeling nostalgic today. This has been quite a week for me. This has been just a milestone week for me. This week I celebrated 35 years of being in the ministry. I've been in the ministry since the spring of 1990, roughly the first week of May, first of May. And that's when I started into the ministry. I've been at it ever since. That's 35 years, man. I'm not old enough for that. And if you feel that way, I feel like you just, time is passing by and you don't necessarily mentally feel old. But then you realize and you sort of look in the mirror and you're a lot older than maybe you feel. Not a bad thing. I'm good. But time has flown, and here I am 35 years into what God has called me to do. And I'm not stopping. This is not a farewell video of the ministry. This is not a retirement video. I'm not in any way, shape, or form ready to retire. I'm retiring when God takes me out. That's it. It's different. See, ministry is not a career choice. It's a calling. And I see a calling as a lifetime thing. So as long as God gives me strength to preach, I will be preaching. I will be pastoring. I will be ministering in some capacity as God sees fit to let me do that. Anyway, and really want to talk about ministry so much today, as I just wanted to think about some things, just where I'm in this nostalgic mood, thinking back over the years. I got thinking, what was the first motorcycle I ever rode? Maybe you can think of one you've ridden. And a lot of you who maybe are my age, around my age, your very first motorcycle ride may have been on a little trail Z50 Honda. You know, the ones with the little narrow handlebars, and they had the two screw knobs down at the base of them where you could loosen those up and fold the handlebars down for putting in a vehicle or whatever. Just a Z50. And that's where I first rode. That's what I first rode. I remember it as clear as day, too. I just remember that exhilaration of twisting the throttle and riding up my neighbor's backyard or my friend's backyard. I say neighbors. I was from a small town, so everybody's sort of your neighbor. But I was at Paul's house. My buddy's name was Paul. I was probably only, I don't know if I was any more than 8 or 10 years old. Definitely younger. Maybe 8 or something like that. Anyway. And they had a little gold-colored Z50. And they dug it out of the shed. And he said, listen, and I wanted to ride. He let me ride. And they had a little path up around their backyard. And I got on, and I didn't know anything about shifting gears. I didn't even know there was a gear shift other than, they just had an automatic clutch on them, so the automatic centrifugal clutch on them. So you just twist the throttle and go, right? That there were 3 gears on them, if I remember right. And I didn't know anything about changing gears, so I left it in first gear and just wound it out going up the hill once I got used to it. But I just remember that exhilaration. And where did that, what laid the groundwork for that? Riding a bicycle. I was a 2-wheel nut when I was young. We were jumping bicycles off ramps and everything before there was ever any BMX bikes or anything like that. In fact, I remember when the first BMX bikes came out, and I thought they flew so nice and everything. It was like awesome, But I rode, and I loved 2 wheels when I was young. And then I got on the Z50, and I loved it. I just absolutely loved it. And I can't say that it became an obsession. I can't say that it became anything unusual. We didn't have money, and my parents were not in favor of a motorcycle of any sort for me. I begged through my teenage years, trust me. I begged, I connived, I worked, I tried, but I never did get a bike, motorcycle when I was young. But that Z50 whet my appetite. And I was just thinking about this week, where did all this motorcycle thing came from? And that's where it came from. Riding that Z50. I rode another Z50 of another friend of mine a few years later. Ended up twisting the throttle, come up, tried to do a quick turn on this hill and come back down. And I don't know if I panicked or what. I used the excuse the throttle stuck, but I think the throttle was stuck because I was, white knuckling it, hanging on and scared. And I ended up, wiping out on it. And nothing severe, never damaged the bike really or anything, but just those lessons. And then my friend had I think it was a 125 Honda street bike that he used to ride up and down the side of the railroad track. Just a rattle trap. I don't know. Just struggled to keep it going. But those things just whet my appetite. And friends of mine who had dirt bikes and stuff like that. And seeing a guy on a dirt bike in a parade doing wheelies. And man, I just wanted to ride. And it wasn't until I moved to Bolivia in 1995, January 95, that over the next few months there, we needed transportation, didn't have a lot of money, and I was able to buy a Yamaha DT175, and that's where I really started to ride what we know as a motorcycle with clutch and, gears and all of that. But, and I remember every bike I've ever had. And I remember most bikes I've ever ridden. I don't know if you're like that or not, but I remember them. I remember my TTR 250. I remember my 92 Ninja 500 that was purple and yellow and white, just real wild colors of the era. And, I remember those motorcycles. I remember those bikes. But it all goes back to the little Z50. It's a nostalgic turn for me this week, just looking back over my life, looking back over what God has done in my life. And I am so thankful he put motorcycles in my life and allowed me the joy of learning to ride, whetting my appetite with that little Z50. Little did I know, almost 50 years ago, that God would turn it into a YouTube channel and riding with the Red Knights and being the chaplain with them and doing all that God has allowed us to do. And now my wife loves being on the bike with me, and it's given us something in our years with, now that the kids are grown and gone, we're empty nesters, and it has given us something to do together that is just wonderful. We get to travel together, and we're planning trips and stuff like that, day trips and overnighters, and then our big trip to Nova Scotia this summer, and looking forward to it all. We're getting gear ready. It's been on our minds for the last several months of doing this ride. And it seems like that's all we can talk about or think about. But man, I love motorcycling, and I am so thankful God allowed me to get on that C50 or Z50. C50 is what I ride now. Z50 all those years ago, and awoke in me that desire, that desire to be on two wheels and a motor and go. It has definitely something that has come to be a serious part of my life. Anyway, I'm just rambling today about what's gone on, but I appreciate you joining me today. If you're still watching the video at this point, thanks for staying with me. If you liked it, please like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you've never subscribed, please do that. And we are getting close to the point of monetizing. Subscribers continue to grow. Watch hours are starting to grow and do pretty well. Hopefully we'll monetize, and we got some plans for that when we do, when we get there. But anyway, thanks for joining me today. May God bless you, and have a great day.